Hey you! Yeah, you watching this. I want you to picture this in your head. You're watching Cartoon Network late at night and they announce that their broadcast is about to end. You're about to go to bed, but there was always a sense of curiosity on what premieres on Cartoon Network after dark. So, you keep watching, and that's when you see this.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
You're confused. Why are there a bunch of old people swimming in a pool? But you keep watching. And you want to know why? Because you're about to experience Adult Swim. And that's going to change your life forever. Okay, maybe I exaggerated a bit with that whole change your life spiel, but Adult Swim is very important to me, and I know that a lot of people out there can agree with me. Adult Swim is definitely what younger me would have wanted to see on TV. Insane counterculture projects that would give your grandmother an aneurysm. There's something so unique about the content that they put on their channel. The vibes are unmatched. It's why for a while that you were seeing TikToks trying to mimic their style. I'm not going to be going over the origins too much because you probably already know it. The TLDR is that Cartoon Network was making Space Ghost Coast to Coast, their first ever original cartoon. That would later lead to them making cartoons for all ages. But Cartoon Network needed programs to play while advertisers were advertising, aka during the nighttime when kids were probably asleep. So, they made Adult Swim and had the team from Coast to Coast lead this project. And thus, history was born. With Adult Swim, you are not getting the stuff that you would usually expect on TV. I don't think a network would ever pick up a show like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. In my opinion, Aqua Teen Hunger Force is the true mascot of Adult Swim, not a certain other show. It pretty much is the antithesis of Adult Swim, with its entire low-budget feel. I mean, look how they move. They're barely even animated. But that's kind of the appeal of the show. The show is carried by its funny writing.
There can be only one!
And sometimes we get small moments where we genuinely get cool looking animation, like in the Brood Witch episode. Of course, Master Shake, Frylock, Meatwad, and their neighbor Carl have all become iconic. Even if you haven't watched the show, you've seen them before. But even though I have a lot of compliments for the show, anything after the first 4 seasons are kinda unnecessary. I mean, there's some exceptions like the Bible Fruit episode, that they made a terrible spin-off show for them for no reason at all. But I just don't feel like it reaches those heights like the first 4 seasons in the movie. Still some funny episodes in those later seasons though. I don't know if my opinion is controversial, it's just something that I noticed because a lot of people talk about those first 4 seasons. Still, that's just my opinion. You can watch as much as you want. There is a lot of content to watch. There's a reason why this show has gone on for so long. In fact, it got renewed for more episodes after the second Aqua Teen movie. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing is completely up to you. Still, the Aqua Teen will forever have a special place in my heart, even if it's a show about practically nothing. Early warning for this section, I'm gonna sound like the whitest person ever, and I'm not even white. The Boondocks is super unique. It has a very obvious anime inspiration for its art style. That's what got me glued to the screen when I was younger, even though I had no idea what they were talking about most of the time in this show. Obviously now with me being older, I can more understand the themes of the show, because this show comments on a lot. especially in Black culture. And I think this show does a great job at that. It also helps out that the show is hilarious. There are so many iconic moments that I still see get posted online to this day.
If you know, you can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Jasmine, are you wearing a wire?
Go blue! Go blue!
And the characters in general are really endearing. Huey, Riley, and Robert Freeman are just absolute treats to watch. And I also love the extended cast: Ed and Jin, Jasmine, Stinkmeister, and Tom Dubois.
What did you say?
Yeah, that guy. And we can't forget the most racist man I've ever seen in a TV show, Uncle Ruckus. His rambles are so insane that you can't help but laugh at how absurd they are. I can't show them on this video or else I'll get banned or something. Even though you're not supposed to take the things that Uncle Ruckus takes seriously, I would not be surprised if some guy would agree with him. That is actually very unfortunate thinking about that. Let's just move on. My favorite episode is the R. Kelly episode, largely because it is still relevant to this day. Way after the show released that episode, R. Kelly still continued to be in the news for a long while. Season 1 and 2 are absolutely worth watching. Season 3 is a mixed bag, but there's still some good episodes, but Season 4 is a mess, and that's probably what killed the show. For a long time now, there would be rumors that the show would come back, but it seems like a reboot was canceled. And you know what? I think I'm okay with that. In recent years, I've become really numb from TV show revivals because a lot of them have not been that great or just don't fill the same void that the original series does. And I believe that the Boondocks will continue to be relevant. As I mentioned earlier, they still have a major presence online. Tons of clips get shared all the time, and that's just a testament to the staying power of that show. Okay, you might be wondering why I'm talking about Family Guy. It's not even a show that airs on Adult Swim anymore, but this section is less talking about the show and more of talking about how Adult Swim played an important part in its life. Because Adult Swim is the reason why Family Guy still airs today. When Family Guy first premiered, it wasn't an immediate success, even though its first episode premiered after the Super Bowl. So the show ended up getting canceled after 2 seasons. Now Fox ended up changing their mind and brought it back for a 3rd season. However, they decided to cancel it again because the ratings just weren't up to snuff for them. After the show ended, Adult Swim picked up the show, but only for reruns of older episodes. However, when Adult Swim was premiering the show, it had way higher ratings, the ones that Fox wanted. They were also selling massive amounts of DVDs. After all this new success, Fox renewed the series for another season, to which it still airs to this day. Now, its quality is not as good as it used to be, but it's still relevant. I argue that Family Guy now is more popular than The Simpsons, but that's a bit of a loaded statement, so I should probably move to the next section.
Oh, I love dodgeball. Heads up.
Pull your swords out.
Oh, please, do it for me.
If I'm not wrong, Toonami is how a lot of people experience anime for the first time. It's definitely to thank with the growth of anime in the West. Now anime is at its peak popularity, but before it was very rare to see anyone like it. Specifically in Western cultures, I know that in Japan it was still really popular. I feel like without Toonami, we would not have the popularity that anime has now. Many animes would become staples of the lineup, such as Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, Fooly Cooly, even though I wish they never included Fooly Cooly in the lineup because of all the new shitty seasons they keep making for it. And if you know anything about Toonami, then you would know that it was hosted by Tom, this cool robot guy that works in a spaceship with his AI sidekick. But before Tom was actually the host of Toonami, it was actually Moltar from Space Ghost Coast to Coast who played that role.
I get lonely sitting here watching the world go by. It'd be nice to have somebody to talk to.
Wonder Woman calling Super Friend.
Rest in peace, C. Martin Croker, who did the voice of Moltar and Zorak on Space Ghost. Once we hit it into the new decade, that's when Tom was properly introduced, played by the talented Steve Bloom, who's played a lot of iconic characters. Tom has went through multiple different redesigns over the years, and I despise the 4th redesign he had. I mean, look at this. What is this? This doesn't look like Tom at all. As popular as Toonami was, all good things must come to an end, because in 2008, Toonami ended. It was an unfortunate time to be a fan of this programming block, so it caused people to show their support online. They wanted Toonami back. And Adult Swim listened, because in 2012 they brought back Toonami to where it continues to this day. And thank God they went with a design that's more akin to his older designs. There isn't much of a reason to watch Toonami nowadays. Many anime fans probably watch their anime on streaming services, or the more ethical way, pirating them. But if you want something different, check out Toonami once in a while. It's worth your time. I just still don't know why he looked like that. Why did they do that? I noticed in this video I've largely been talking about older shows. Let's talk about something recent, and probably the biggest show that Adult Swim has produced. That, well, isn't the show that should not be named. And that show is Smiling Friends. Created by two individuals from the internet, Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel, who have made some amazing animations. Their show got picked up on Adult Swim for only one episode, but that episode went viral online. And after how viral that first episode got, I say that Adult Swim's biggest show is now Smiling Friends. I've mentioned previously how some of these shows still have relevance online through shareable clips. Well, Smiling Friends is chock full of them.
Oh, I love you, Daddy.
You kissed your dad on the mouth?
And the characters have become super recognizable. Mr. Frog is my spirit animal. I won't be talking about this show that much because there's probably several thousand other videos talking about it. But if you somehow haven't watched it, go watch it, or I will find you. The last show that I want to talk about is one that's very important to me. It has become one of my favorite shows ever made. Out of all the shows that I talk about in this video, this is the one that you should definitely watch. The less you know about it, the better your experience is going to be. However, I will be spoiler free while I'm talking about it, so you can keep watching the video. Got to keep that viewer attention somehow. This show is something special. Wow, like the title of the video, oh my god. The way that this show handles its themes is some of the best I've seen in television. Plus, like the other shows that I mentioned, it's funny as well.
Yeah, I guess sometimes certain things get misinterpreted.
Like what?
Not sure.
You can tell that this show is very personal, and some of my favorite creative works out there are personal projects. The show tackles religion, obviously. I have a history with religion that I won't really get into the nitty-gritty of, for personal reasons, obviously. But as someone with experience with religion, watching this show, it makes it hit even harder. Orel is a great character to follow, and Clay is probably one of the most evil men that I've ever seen. It's a shame that the show got canceled after 3 seasons, and Adult Swim has felt like shoving the show under a rug. If you look at the behind the scenes, you'll see that they actually had more ideas for future seasons. Adult Swim totally screwed them over though. Adult Swim wanted their content in their episodes to go a bit farther than what they're usually used to, and they did that, but Adult Swim got cold feet and changed their mind, and it really sucks. I am at least glad that they have somewhat of an ending to wrap things up as best as they can, and I think it does its job. That's also the reason why I don't really want to see the series come back now. I've already mentioned my grievances with reboots and remakes and all that stuff, and overall, I'm okay with what we have, because what we got was an absolute masterpiece. In conclusion, I know this video sung Adult Swim's praises, but they aren't the best behind the scenes. Some people that have worked long term there have been screwed over by them, and that really sucks. And Mike Lazo is just a terrible person all around. I think Adult Swim does deserve criticism from time to time, because big corporations are never your friends. I just wanted to go back to a nostalgic part of my past, and Adult Swim will have a special place in my heart, not because of the suits that control the network, but the talented people that make the stuff.
Jack, welcome to the Toonami holodeck. Now let's race.
Let's do it. Jack is back in a whole new dangerous world, and he's battle ready. Toonami's giving you the chance to get in on the action. We're giving away 30 PlayStation 2s and 500 copies of Jack 2, rated T for teens. This world is better left to Jack. Watch Toonami all this week from 5 to 7 for the toll-free number.
Can we ever finish this race?